Hi, and welcome to Design It with Tammie Gibbs. I'm Tammie, and today I'm going to be working a little bit inside Artistly, a little bit inside of Etsy. We are going to be doing a little research for the upcoming Christmas holidays to see kind of how you can go in and do a little research if you don't have Insight Factory, just to get sort of a broad idea of some of the things that are trending and becoming bestsellers. So we're just going to go on and use Etsy and show you some ways that you can kind of shop around to see what people are searching for, just to get a better feel for trends and maybe some direction as to how to not only design your products. For instance, if you're doing, I'm going to use clip art as one of the examples, but this is applicable to anything, any digital product that you are creating. And you'll be able to use those same techniques and do some things that I do use Insight Factory, but a lot of people don't have it. And so I want to give you some ways that you can search, and then some ways that you can utilize my themes playbook and also the mock-up playbook, along the way. So I'm really wanting to help concentrate a little bit on some of my videos. I've done a lot on prompting, and of course that is super important, but also you need to know how to showcase your products. You need to know how to select the products that you create. And there's a lot that goes into the workflow process for your products. So, okay. So, what we're going to do is we are going to go into Etsy, and we're just going to go up. This is just in my shop just to get us a start. Now, I want to explain to you something that a lot of people don't understand about Etsy and the way that they deliver results. Okay, so a lot of people will go on and they will search for whatever it is. I'm going to do Christmas clip art. Okay, so first off, you will see here, and now you probably don't have this feature where it tells you what the searches are per month. That's because I pay for another product that gives me these details here. And I will probably do maybe a video on that separately. So I'm not even going to mention that. But you can see that it auto populates, and then if you're looking for a specific store, you want to click on the find shop names containing whatever the like. If you've typed a shop name up here, you're going to click here. They're going to give you this option here, and that's the only way you're going to be able to find that shop. If you're just looking up here for it, it's not going to deliver. You're not going to find your shop or anybody else's that way. Okay. So my shop name is actually very weird, so it's really hard for people to, unless they know exactly how to type it in, to find it. Mine is Trotter's Lane, as in LN rather than LANE, because there was not enough characters for me to do that. Treasures. So it's Trotter's, you say it Trotter's Lane Treasures, but the lane is not spelled out. So that's a little weird for people to find me. But anyway, it is what it is. And that's what I had chosen a long time ago before I really started getting any traction on Etsy. So anyway, so this is just, the basics here. Okay. So if we were to we type that in, so we know that Christmas clip art PNGs is also a term that people search for. Christmas clip art bundle, Christmas clip art watercolor, Christmas clip art groovy, which is, that's kind of outside the norm. So that gives you some different keywords that people are actually searching for. So those are good options for using in your tags and throughout your packs, so that's some ideas on that. So we're going to search for the clip art. And okay, you're going to see that right off the bat, here is my best-selling AI artist playbook for Christmas florals right up here. Okay. So am I really getting that kind of traction where it's going to appear right here for you when you search that term? Probably not. It's probably because I have looked at that product, looking to see whether it's still a bestseller or, things like that. So delivery of results here is not what the majority of people are going to see. And a lot of people get really confused because they see a lot of things that they may see their own listings in the immediate results, and that's because for some time or another you have looked at those. They the algorithm and their search capabilities kind of gear the results to you and your shopping habits. That's just part of the way they deliver up things, which is somewhat confusing because it's like, well, how do I really ever know what I'm ranking? And it's really hard to know. But now, can we spot just doing it from that bar, like while you're logged in? You can. I mean, it's still going to deliver some results that you're going to see are bestsellers, like this Messy Coquette. And I'm pretty sure I don't pronounce that correctly, but just overlook it because I probably never will. This Winter Wonderland here is a bestseller, so that's another theme. So if I could make a suggestion, if you're looking through Etsy at any given time, like once a week or however often you do it, and you're just wanting to make something, and one of the things I do as well is look to see if somebody's got a bestseller and I've got something similar, then that tells me that maybe I need to push that product out into the public, like on Facebook or other places, because there's a need for it. People are buying it, enough for somebody to have a bestseller. You can also look and see whether they have a sale, whether it's a sponsored listing, meaning they're paying an ad. This one is not. It's not delivered up by an ad. They do have it on sale. They have it on sale for 25% off. And then up here, let's go back to this one. This one is also not an ad. They do not have it on sale, but you can see what their regular price is. So you can begin to gather market information just by looking and searching for what you're trying to sell. Now, this we see that whole shop bundles are popular. We see around what the discount and the price that it's selling at is. And I have something to say about pricing because as much as we all feel like all of our stuff is worth a lot, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay you. I'm a real estate agent, a real estate broker in my state, in my town. And for years, that is how value is actually done with houses. A house is only worth what someone is willing to pay. And it's the same thing across the board with any product that you're going to sell. It's only going to be worth what someone is willing to pay for it. So keep that in mind when you look and say somebody's selling something for a lot cheaper than what you want to sell it for. It's market. It's market trends. And no, you don't want to be the least expensive, but you also do not want to price yourself out of a market. And for digital products, I'll also want to remind you that that product has a longer life than a physical product does. Once you sell a physical product, you are never involved in that product again. You can sell it. If you have a bunch of the physical products, you can sell them to different individuals. And then that's different. Once you give out of that product, you can't sell it anymore. With digital products, it has a longer lifespan. It doesn't matter. It's perpetual and it continues over and over and over. You sell it many, many, many times. So you're going to make more money on volume than you are on single um, prices, selling a single product. So keep that in mind also when you get really down about how much your product can make, because in the long run, it can make a lot of money. It may not make it for you in 4 or 5 sales. It's a longer term thing. So it's better to price them well, put them out there, find a price that they sell at, and then move on to the next product. Okay. It doesn't mean you have to sell all your products at that price. You want to build up, just like some people have the whole shop or the whole product packages where they sell something and then the people get to continue to do that. Now, I don't know how I feel about that. To me, I feel like it may be a way on short term to make money, and there are a lot of people out there, so but you do have to keep earning those people over and over again, because those same people are not going to be your ongoing customers, and a lot of my business is repeat business. So if I sold them my whole shop, then once all those people got it, then I would have to go out and find more people, more buyers to come in, rather than building my business. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. But there are quite a few bundles that sell, and there is that thing where you sell a bundle like that, like a lifetime. You sell so many of them, like you sell 20, you have 20 bundles available, and then after that, it's sunsetted, and you don't sell it anymore. So that's also a strategy for you. Okay, so gingerbread people, we see that it's on 50% off. And let's see, that one is a bestseller. So that's a theme, gingerbread. Rustic Christmas, and then neutral Christmas. A lot of these are not necessarily new things, but just it does give us an idea. So, like I said, rather than just go make new products and that, look and see if you already have them in your store, and then try to showcase them, maybe run a sale on them. Do something to get a little bit of attention on it. Put it out on, do a short term sale, advertise it to some of these groups where they let you post a sale, and do it fairly cheap for a day, just to drive some traffic there, and to get the algorithm is going to be favorable to you if you're selling. So it's going to pick up that you're selling that item. They're going to show it to more people. So that is just more tricks. Okay. Now, what we want to do is go, and I want you to go into your, let me go back. Okay. So if you go, I'm on Edge, for Microsoft Edge is the browser I'm using. I'm not sure, it's called different things. I'm on Google's Chrome. It's called in private, I think it is. No, it's called incognito, I believe, on Google Chrome. But if you go to new in private window, it's going to open up something like this. Then you can type in, Etsy.com, and it's going to take you to the main page. Now, this is without any search history. So this is going to be showing you things without your preferences, like without your search history being involved in how they deliver up to you. So you're being delivered up to now as a brand new customer that has just come on to Etsy and maybe doesn't have a search history either. But keep in mind that most people do have a search history. So even at this, it's not going to be showing you what everyone else sees, because everyone else is going to be just like when I was searching on mine. It is going to deliver up things that it thinks I want to see. But we can still test it. Christmas clip art. And we see now that we get a little bit different. We still get the PNG. We get watercolors a little higher up. The bundle, the Christmas clip art groovy is still there in the populate. So we know those are good terms to search. So we're just going to do the broad Christmas clip art, and then we're going to look for any trends or items that are selling as. We also want to look here where it says popular now, because those are also things that people are looking for and searching. So you want to look at the popular now and any best-selling items to get some keys. So we've got this elements here. That's really pretty. I actually have some in my queue that are a similar style. But we also can see that these are elements. It actually doesn't tell us right now how many are in there, but they've got it on sale for $1.50. So it's probably a smaller pack. popular now, this quirky Christmas. This Christmas bundle is cute. Um, the Grand Millennial Christmas, this bestseller here. All of these, the cute Christmas, like I said, quirky Christmas is popular. The hand drawn Christmas and the cozy white Christmas. We've got the Christmas time clip art. One thing about looking here as opposed to looking on Inside Factory is going to be that when you're looking, you are going to be um, seeing a representative image. But when you click through, you may realize that that particular pack that is on the results page is not the one that's actually selling. It's a random image for that category that you're looking at. Now, here's some trees. Um, this style, this whimsical style. So you're looking for style, you're looking for colors, because the styles and the colors can transfer over into different products and different um, images or clip art, whether it's in these particular, you use it the same way or not. Like this green, if that were, that doesn't mean it won't sell. It just doesn't have that tag, that popular now. So right now we're on the very broad search, this quirky reindeer. So quirky is a thing. So maybe you do quirky something else, or you have quirky something else that's Christmas related. Then we've seen several that said quirky. This timeless Noel, this different colors here. This looks like the blacks. And then again, this whimsical style, all of that plays into what you make as your choices. And then you've got the wild, the winter barn clip art, and it looks like this may be a single image. No, it's actually several images. Now, they're not calling these wall art. They're calling them digital downloads and clip art, when probably it could have been put in, could have been put under wall art, but this may be a trick that they have learned. They may get more views and less competition by putting it under the clip art, when really it can actually be sold. It actually is more, it can be used for wall art. And it actually does say nursery wall art, junk journals, greeting cards. So it gives you lots of different ways to use those images. But this may be a trick that we can try as well with some of our products if we don't want to compete under that umbrella of the wall art category, which can be very overrun. And it, that kind of works the same way with your images for shirts and stuff. When you just sell the image, but you show that it can be used on something else. So we see this style popular now, preppy popular now, bestseller now. I actually have some images that are like this, and this is 22 of the little potted trees. But I have this style in some of my art, so this would probably be. Now they're selling it relatively inexpensively, but again, it is a bestseller, which means they're selling a lot of them. So, don't be so, and I hate to use this word, but sometimes we can be too stingy with our products. And by doing that, it doesn't allow us to grow. So sometimes you have to do what's called a loss leader. And you don't have to put your whole store as a loss leader. But if you have a few products that then you can drive your traffic in, I believe that some of the coaches use this technique. I won't mention any names, but they say have a loss leader, have, clip art that's $1 or something that's a low price. That way it comes up in those low price searches. So you do get the traffic. And again, once you get traffic to your store, once you start selling things, then it is a domino effect. So the more, if you can market and you can drive some traffic there, it's going to help the algorithm know that people are coming to look for you. So that helps. That's like a check mark and a check box for your store. And the reason that I'm doing more videos like this is because I see so many people sitting in stagnant shops, people sitting there and waiting on Etsy to deliver up their business. They have all their eggs in the Etsy basket. And when Etsy makes major changes, they change the algorithm, they change a lot of different things, then your business is impacted more when you are depending on all of your traffic within the Etsy ecosystem. So you can make images a day, you can make products a day, you can list every day. At some point, when you get enough product that you have a nice store laid out that has enough product for people to look at, you need to pause and you need to start putting your focus instead of into your production, into your selling. And the part of selling is you need to find ways to get your product in front of more people. And I'm not saying run a lot of ads. There are a lot of different ways that you can generate organic traffic. And if you do not have my Digital Product Creators Playbook, let me go and let me just show you where that's at. I will show it to you. Let's go in here. And I'm just going to, this is how I'm going to start search and find my shop. There we go. Okay, so let me show you which book I'm talking about because it has a lot of ideas. It even has an 8-hour jump start, which gives you tasks for each of 8 hours that you can sit down and an hour at a time, or you could do a whole day, 1 8-hour day, and sit down and put into effect different tasks that are going to help you build toward organic traffic to your store. It includes that inside as well. So it is the Digital Product Creators Playbook. It's 50% off right now. And basically it, let's see, it includes the Creator's Guide to Copyright and Trademark Use, visibility strategy for, clip art or any creators. I've got clip art here, but it's for anyone. The SEO primer for digital products. There's swipe files and product ideas and phrase banks, and there's just so much in there. Tons and tons of things in there. And yeah, I've gotten lots of 5-star reviews on it. People love it. Great ideas. Let's go back to the item details and I'll just kind of walk you through what it actually has in it. It's really helpful if you kind of feel stuck. So it's 200 pages or thereabouts. And like I said, it has the 8-hour visibility plan, the SEO simplified. It has strategies for Pinterest and Instagram. You have a clip art and printable seller guidance on anything from mock-up tips to usage ideas, swipe files, phrase banks, a quarterly report card where you can check to see how you're growing, a lot of bonus resources. I mean, it's just packed full of things. It is a great guide for helping you get your visibility up and grow your organic growth. What does organic growth mean? It means you're not paying for it. It means it's happening naturally with you put something out there And then that gets seen by people, and then maybe they talk about it to somewhere else. It triggers a sale, that triggers more organic growth. People, if they're satisfied with your product, are going to go and talk about it other places. It takes a while for organic traffic to build, but it lasts so much longer than ads do. Ads are not my favorite thing. Ads are necessary sometimes, and at some point I may feel like I need to, but you can build organically. I did it with my first novel, Island of Secrets. It's a time travel gothic romance. If you're interested in gothic romance, you might want to check it out on Amazon. That book was on the market for about a year. It took it that long to build some momentum with the techniques that now I have converted over to digital products. But, and originally the 8-hour jumpstart was created for authors and how they could jumpstart their organic visibility for their books. But it took me about a year to build, but the sooner you start, the quicker it's going to happen. And in digital product sales and the way things, that was many years ago, the internet wasn't working as fast as it is now. So you can actually create that organic traffic a lot faster. There's a lot more opportunities out there and places to market organically. But think of this. Okay, if you have your store or a particular product that solves a problem, those always work better. If you can deliver a solution to someone's product problem or make something easier for someone, those items are going to become bigger. And a lot of times clip art is not, if it's not framed properly, doesn't have that same energy behind it as perhaps another product like a planner or, something like that. Now, a bundle, like if somebody needs an invitation, and they're looking for a specific design, then yes, it can definitely trigger that effect. But the clip art itself has to match what the needs are for the creators that are creating those products. So it's all intertwined together. So I think what I see happening a lot are a lot of very creative people, and this happens a lot in creative niches, in creativity in general, whether you're a writer, whether you're an artist, whether you're a digital artist or an AI artist or whatever kind of artist, it is that we feel most comfortable when we're creating our product, and we don't feel comfortable in the marketing space that is necessary for us to grow. So we have to make a decision. We either get better at that, and that's what most people like us have to do, get better at it. I had an advantage because I used to publish magazines, so I used to do advertising. I used to market. I handled marketing for an international company at one point in time. So I already had that background. It did give me an edge. I'm not going to lie about it. But it's also something that allows me to now help you and give you those ideas to help you do it. And, I may later have some sort of membership. I don't. Right now, most of my stuff are products that I feel like deliver a ton of content that will allow you to do everything faster and better. So that's where I'm putting my time into. And then I love to design. So I have clip art and I have invitations and I have all these other products too that sell. But I am finding my happy space doing these videos, which are free to you. And then, finding other ways that I make money from my information, in ways, but I give a ton of stuff for free. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. Be sure and join my group on Facebook. I have a free group on Facebook. Take advantage of all this material that I'm trying to share with you for free. And then, if you feel led that I have a product that solves something for you, then of course I want you to purchase it, because I created it for people just like you, for people like me. I was creating a resource just for me, but it just got so huge and so good. I mean, it just would have been a shame for me to just share it with just myself. It'd just be something that I kept for myself as my little secret. So that started the whole playbooks. That's the reason that I'm very selective about the subjects that I do the playbooks on. I find needs that I try to fill, and that's how that started. And it's been great because it allows me to help you in many different ways. And, once you purchase those playbooks, you have them forever and you can continue to work from them as a resource and a reference point. And so, anyway, let's get back to what our searching and everything. So, that's some ways that you can go on and you can search the products and everything. We've also touched on how you select. I mean, the reason that is important is you need to be selecting things and choosing things. Okay, so for my clip art sellers out there, let me just put this out there. Okay, so if your shop is full and you're not getting the traffic that you want to, we've already discussed, you need to pause it a little bit. I mean, if you've got a full store, you can afford to pause the listing thing, because just listing every day and just, doing that over and over again is not getting you the traction you need on Etsy right now. You can work on your SEO, but remember, never change your SEO, your titles, or your tags on performing listings. Leave them the way they are because they're already being picked up. Now, they may not be selling all you want them to. You could adjust your price, perhaps, but they are getting seen and they are getting sold, and that's the point. So, work on other listings that have not go back and look for a listing that has not gotten any views or any sales, or it got views but it got no sales, and then adjust the price, or look and compare it with other products on the same theme, etc., the ones that are selling. Repackage it, change the cover up, do some things like that. I did that a while back on a few of my older listings, changed the SEO on them a little bit, and now they're selling. So go and look for those items, because if they've been on in your store for more than 3 or 4 months and they're getting little to no views, or they're getting a lot of views and they're not selling, then something is wrong. People are not buying it for a reason. So either repackage it, if you feel like it's the product itself, it's that particular clip art pack, take that pack along with a really interesting good pack. add excuse me, add some packs together and make a bundle, like a sales bundle. This would be a great idea to do for your lower performing products once a month, to have a sale, or once a month showcase one bundle that's going to be your grab bag bundle, that's all mixed up. It doesn't have to follow any particular people like that. They like grab bags, they like things like that, and you can show them what's in it, and then you can put a question mark over one of the packs that you're going to include, and say, this is your surprise pack. It's got 100 images. It's a surprise, and just cover it up. People like things like that. It's all about your marketing and how you do it. You could then take that bundle and go, and any of your groups that you belong to for creators that may use your clip art, you could take, and if they have a once a week where you can promote a product, promote it there. Put some grease, behind it. Be creative. Turn your imagination into the marketing of your product instead of just the creation of your product. Okay. So we've covered those things, which I think are very important for anyone that doesn't know how to do that, or is just looking for a quick way to just go in and, um, I'll be honest with you, I'm using Insight Factory a little less because I'm beginning to get a feel for a lot of the trends and stuff, and I'm not with the way I'm doing my stuff because I do have flagship. I have several flagship products that are bringing traffic into my store. And just to be honest, most of my traffic, and mainly it's because of the videos, I think, probably. Most of the traffic to my store, I'm driving at least 50 to 60% of my own traffic into my store, which is super great because I don't have to depend on Etsy. But that other 40 to 50%, depending on when it is, that Etsy is providing me traffic wise and sales wise, because it also divides that way sales wise as well. I'm selling inside the Etsy ecosystem, and I'm also driving traffic using my share and save. Be sure and use your share and save when you advertise it off Etsy so that you get that discount when you're driving your own traffic. And so, because I am getting both, um, it's a perfect situation because I'm driving traffic. But because I'm driving traffic, Etsy is picking up and showing my stuff out more. A prime example is on Facebook. I see my products on the Etsy ads all the time. And I've had other people say the same thing, that they have seen my product, my playbooks, some of my clip art, some of my invitations now that they're picking up. And that's where they charge you if somebody goes through that link. Like if they click on the Facebook link and then they go and they buy something, then um, Etsy's going to charge you that little advertising fee that we don't have any choice about. I'm fine with that. A lot of people have a problem with it. I think people that have a big problem with it are selling um, physical products because there's not as much room. With us, our stuff is basically 100% profit. Less, we're going to have our overhead fees like our groups that we belong to that we pay for, our subscriptions, for our, tools, that sort of thing. But in general, we do not have a product cost outside of those items. So it's a little bit more abstract. And so um, basically, it's how much we um, price our item, and then all of the fees that we have to pay is our main thing. So, if we're pricing our stuff right, that percentage should not be a problem. However, to get that same exposure, and honestly, if you go out and you advertise your product on Facebook and pay for it, less people are likely to click through and buy that way because of reputation. If they see Etsy, they know they can use the Etsy checkout. They feel safer with that, just like I feel safer shopping on Amazon or Walmart and not giving my credit card information to somebody that just pops up on an ad on Facebook. That's just me. There's too much fraud out there. So when people see that, then they're more likely to click through and purchase that way. So I'm thrilled because it's kind of like consignment. I'm not having to pay for that ad up front. I'm only paying if that product sells. So I'm thrilled. I was thrilled when they picked me up, and now they show me on Instagram, they show me on Pinterest, I've seen these places that I've had people send me an email or a message and say, "Oh, I saw your playbook here. They're advertising it here. It's in so many carts here." That sort of thing. So it's exciting. And it's all part of that marketing arm of your business that most of you are not paying any attention to. However, let's move forward. Okay, so now that we've done all of that, let me show you. I'm going to go into the playbooks, and first I'm going to go back to here. Okay, so let's just say that we're going to um, Cozy Christmas. Okay. Another thing we're going to do, this is Christmas clip art. So let's just do clip art in general. Okay, so clip art for artist trading cards. That's interesting. Let's look at see what that is because that came right up. So these are some of the items that are popping up as and then we've got popular now, but that's something that's being searched. So you've got backgrounds, basically. Artist trading cards. Interesting. I've not been aware of this. Artist trading cards. Alternative Christmas artist trading cards. Very cool. Artist trading card postcards. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But we're also seeing a lot of things just thrown in here. Now, we know that we stay away from Disney. Um, Artist trading card. Okay, so let's just look in here and see. Title swap. Okay. So this looks like a neat new thing. Let's see. Artist trading cards. Perfect. No physical item. The back side so that you can put your art on the front. It says you can basically you can use them for physical um, printed items. You can print them and sell them, but you cannot use them to create other digital items, not from this person. But this shows the artist trading cards. This is very interesting. So that is being searched a lot. So let's go back here. And let's just do clip art again because I got a little distracted, but that's where you can maybe, that's something that is. So, okay, so clip art for kids, clip art for business cards. These are some very interesting things. Clip art for baby's first Christmas. These are all things you could definitely tie into. I'm just going to do the general clip art. So we're going to see this falling apples, hello fall. All of these are rainy September. I'm going to get lots of ideas. Here again are those images. How cool is that? We all have those pretty images that we just can't um, figure out what to do with. They're too pretty to remove the backgrounds on, so that's lots of things that we can do. Backgrounds. You can see popular now are these trees. You know, this is kind of cool. This is a family Christmas ornament that can be personalized, I guess. Well, I don't know. It says digital download, so I would assume it's either you can personalize it or, and it has different ones that you can fill in the names on, which is also a very good concept. Christmas shop, and then you've got the fall. Some of these are fairly broad topics rather than really specific. So it gives you a lot of expansion room. That's cute using the toile design. Okay. The rustic Christmas, you know. Your classic Christmas. pumpkins. Let's look at that baby's first clip art for baby's first Christmas or whatever it was. Let's see, for baby. Okay, so we've got like Winter Wonderland. Let's see, baby first Christmas. So you've got first Christmas things here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is we know that baby's first Christmas is kind of popular. You've got popular and you've got several bestsellers in there. So that's kind of something you could go at. Um, so here are some ways that if I were going to be going at that, that's really cute. This is a baby shower bundle. So it's not just things that are coming up under the clip art are not just for clip art. Okay, so how could you potentially expand on this? You could do the baby's first Christmas, but then maybe you throw in some extras like, ornament, the things for the ornaments for the tree. You do a t-shirt a t-shirt image for a little t-shirt or a onesie that says that matches um, a background so that it would be kind of like a little wrapping paper, um, seamless paper or something like that they could use for wrapping paper or to print it out or whatever. So there's lots of different things that you could set your little bundle apart by having not only the clip art separately, but also including some product, making it set aside. And this is also something that would be really cute to share on your regular Facebook profile. Not that, but if you have for your shop, you should have a page set up that you could then post it and then share it to your profile so that you're not conducting business per se directly onto your Facebook profile. Um, and then local people, a lot of local people may be interested in um, purchasing something like this, something that they could do for their grandchild. It's their first Christmas, or, as a gift, they may be very crafty, but they're not artistic. So, hitting the right price point and putting it out there like that, having good mock ups and everything would be really good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go around or go back to um, here, and let's see, that's not it. Okay, so I have a playbook that is the themes playbook, and so let me just show you how that ties into your finding a bestseller or some things that are popular, and then how you can use it to. And this is what it looks like. Cover of it. This one is 722 pages, and so it has an index of themes that break everything down. So this is where you can, okay, I'm going to make a baby's first Christmas pack, and everything. And then this is where you could potentially, like if you wanted to include in that, since it's Christmassy, maybe it's some Arctic wildlife would be cute. Here, to use that theme and do little polar bears or some little polar baby animals. Okay, you see how this is going. So it gives you some ideas, snowy owls, things like that, little polar bears. Um, you could do the little paw prints in snow with like the babies first or whatever. You could put, blue bows or something around. You could make it a little different than everybody else's. So it gives you ideas on styles and colors, all that sort of thing. It gives you ideas on invitation and stationery. So you can be very creative. Um, children's wall art, nursery decor. Maybe you make something just for Christmas to go in the nursery that says baby's first Christmas, or it's a scene with the baby animals or whatever. There's just so many different ideas, and the themes playbook, is just really cool for that. So let's go back to, okay, so let's say you don't want to do that, but you want to do little farm animals. You've got several different places throughout that give you ideas. This is on chickens and cows and, all the different things you can do with that. You also can take some leads from all of the birthday things. Like if you wanted to do baby's first Christmas, but you wanted to do the dinosaurs, then you could go here and you wouldn't be using this is for invitations per se for birthdays, but it does give you ideas on little dinosaur, um, different dinosaurs. The baby dinosaurs hatching from eggs comes to mind, and the first birthday, I mean, not first birthday, but first Christmas, you could do all of that and then have them as your Christmas theme. So you could do palm trees with snow on them. You could mix it up. I mean, be creative, because those items are typically the ones that will stand out among all of the normal teddy bears that are done for baby's first Christmas. So take a little walk on the wild side. You don't have to put all your eggs in the same basket, but the themes playbook will give you lots of optional ideas. It is meant to help you identify different things you can put together, just sort of jumpstart your creativity and your own idea generating mechanism inside your brain. Just sometimes when we look at something in particular, we one idea leads to another. That's how it is with creative people. So this is just chock full of all those different things. And you see that it is all, you've got vintage, you've got fantasy, you've got the baby showers, which those woodland animal shower, all of these things would be perfect candidates for that Christmas theme. But if we go back, we also have seasonal and holiday. So then you take that and then you combine it with the seasonal winter holidays, and it can help you also put together like the toys. You could do Santa's toy shop, and then babies, have um, a doll, or the little animals in with the toys, playing with the toys. So there's just so many with presents, under a tree, so many different things that you can set apart to get these different ideas, whether it's baby's first Christmas or whether it's just a Christmas clip art pack. um, a Christmas clip art pack with dinosaurs. How cool would that be? You could do, you could just mix and blend everything. So this themes playbook will not only help you with, it'll help you generate ideas for years, literally, with so much content. So I'm gonna pop back and just, we've got birthdays, cottage core, vintage and retro, fantasy and mythical. You've got weddings and anniversaries, party essentials, everyday domestic life, florals, And you've got your bonus resources, which are color combos and sample AI prompts, bonus product ideas, all those things. So there's just a ton of information in there. And then when you get to the mock-ups, we've got the new mock-up playbook. And I think that's here. Yes. Okay. And so just to kind of show you these are some of my newest ones. So, okay. So here's the table of contents here. So you have mock-ups for practically everything. Understanding the different types, whether it's a flat lay or it's a lifestyle mock-up, the differences, styling. This actually goes beyond mock-ups and actually talks a lot about, there's a whole section on styling your Etsy shop, your categories, your visuals inside, the things that your text and your marketing copy that you use throughout your Etsy store. So, and then it also goes into some other things beyond Etsy. So, how you can apply those things, like about the psychology, of having, how to select the categories, how not to have too many categories that aren't logically placed, your sales pitches, there's just so much here that that is very helpful. Calls to action, all that kind of thing. So it goes beyond just the mock-ups. But you do have samples, and then you also have the different individual items that are good to go. Like, for instance, party printables, lifestyle mock-ups. Let me just show you on the invitations. So this is birthday invitations. So it basically gives you a list of suggested props, background surface ideas, lighting and tone. It gives you a prompt starter, gives you a little description of each one. And it just goes through different ones to give you all those at a glance things that just save you hours and hours of just sitting there trying to decide what to do. This just kind of jump starts your particular thought process. Okay, so now let's go over and look at something else that we're going to go into Artistly, and I'm going to show you some of the places that will be really helpful in this process. Okay, so you've got your product and everything. So your mock-ups. Now, I did a video totally on mock-ups. I'm not going to get down in the weeds on that right now, but I do want to show you some of those features that I used. So if you go into AI Design Agents, there is I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong one. Okay, if you go into the Design Assistants, not Agents, then there is a mock-up creator. So how this works is that basically you'll find a product. So let's just say, let's say this is my product right here. Okay. So this is how it would work. I'm just going to do one little demonstration. And then I'm going to go into the mock-ups playbook here. And I'm going to go to sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to go to the, well, dang it. Okay, so we're going to go to this party printables. And we are going to, that's cupcake toppers. We're going to we're going to put it on a water bottle. So we have a prompt starter here, and I'm just going to use this for an example. You don't have to use, this is just to help you get started, but just for simplicity's sake and for time, I'm going to show you how to use this one. and just to demonstrate how you use this process. So we're going to make it a square because that's the way that typically it's going to be. I'm going to paste in this water bottle label mock-up scene, and we're going to put place the so we're going to say on the bottle label. Okay. So that's how this feature works for the mock-ups. And I'm working in Artistly 6 because that's what I make all my stuff in. So now we have a cute little mock-up with the little bottles. Now, we can get more specific with the type of bottle. I just let it randomize and do, but it put my image of my product on my bottles. That's where you go back in and then you'll tweak the type of bottle, a tall, purchased water bottle, or, you can adapt that base. And then you can use this feature. And let me show you one more time. It's under AI Design Assistance. Okay. Now, product photos, you can do the same thing. Let's do this one. And then, we would do the same thing here. So you have a couple of different features that you can actually. Now, without adding anything, I'm going to try this to see if it will just place it on the water bottle. It may not, but just to show you scope of what you need to do with that product. There you go. So now you can go back. You could say, okay, with lids, whatever you wanted to do, but it did place it on it, and we didn't have to tell it to place it. It actually placed it. We could do that with a coffee mug. We could do it with whatever. This is going to be one of those things where you already have your invitation done, and then you're going to go into the mock-ups playbook, or you can do them by scratch, of course, but the mock-ups playbook gives you some bases to kind of get you started, and you're going to tell it to put that invitation in this scene, that kind of thing. So those are two really great. If you don't have Artistly already, there are so many different, just all of these are different designers that you can use for different things. You go into this and you have additional ones. You go here, you have all of these that you can use, different styles. You have so much capability inside. If you have your own images that you've already created somewhere else or a photograph, you can use this human stylizer. You can use the sketch to 3D render. You can use the photo editor to manipulate those images that you already have and that you're not just creating from scratch. So you do have several different things that you can do. You can do the photo to coloring page the same way. So in those areas, it'll allow you to upload a picture that you work with then. So that is really cool. So if you don't have Artistly, I have my link, my affiliate link. You will not pay any extra, but you do help me to stay with more videos on the channel when you use my link. So it does help support my endeavor to help you. So, and it does not cost you anything else. In fact, I think they have a little discount code, or they did at the last time I looked. If you use that affiliate link for me, then at the top, I think they had a discount code that you could type in and get a discount off of the product. My advice is go ahead and get the full package because it's a one-time fee with no payments for monthly, and it's just a great asset. I have made lots and lots and lots of money with Artistly. So you can definitely make money with it if that's what you want to do. So I wanted to be able to just show you how to basically go in and do some searches, how it's relevant, what you're searching, how you apply the information in coming up with the right products, like what the criteria is. You want to find something that if you're really looking to gain traction, you need to be looking really hard at trying to put together a package, a bundle, a something that you can charge a little bit more for, but you can also go outside of Etsy and market for yourself, whether that be a whole collection of clip art, or you've taken your clip art and you've done a combo pack or bundle where you include the clip art, but you also include several different products with it, like a t-shirt graphic, or you know um, composition notebook cover. You do some things that are templates that they can use or print out or do whatever, that already have that on there. you know um, Decide who you want to market that particular product to. Is that going to be a personal use product? Is it going to have commercial use? Because you've included all those things, you can probably do your commercial clip art one way, and then if you put these packs together, you can make those personal use, because you're targeting two different audiences. But anyway, I wanted to talk about some of that because I know that it's really easy to get frustrated in this digital product creation business. We are isolated a lot at home. We're spending a lot of hours on the computer, and if you're getting burned out, I had a friend that has been doing this for as long as I have, and she told me that she was getting really burned out and that she wasn't being able to spend as much time with her family. And she was, posting. She just didn't feel like she was getting the sort of traffic or traction that she needed. And so my advice to her was to take a pause and take a break, a few days, a week, not to disconnect. The worst thing anybody can do when they're feeling overwhelmed is go and shut their store down, because then if they decide that they regret that, they're going to come back and have nothing to work with and be starting all the way over from scratch. So never do that. I don't even think you should. If you're in the digital product business, just stop listing things, let it sit there and let it make money. If you only get charged every 3 months, so that essentially gives you not necessarily a 3-month period, because you have things that come due at different times, but it spreads it out. So you probably don't have a lot of money, for every month, to keep your fees going or whatever. But even if you had to put some of your products to reduce the fees, even if you had to put some of them on inactive, for a little while and then bring them back active again, then that would still be better than shutting your whole store down, because that's the whole point of passive income. Is it's supposed to work for you when you aren't there. So just because you feel like by making listings every day, you're somehow holding your store up, and that if you stop listing, your store is just going to fall down, and you know you're not really holding it up. You're putting listings out there every day, but that act alone is not growing you, necessarily. It can, but not necessarily, and sometimes it doesn't. So just because you stop doing that does not mean you don't have a store. Now, always try to check this takes minutes. If you check your email and you get a notification that someone has messaged you, always keep up with your messages. That's not a hard thing to do, even when you're kind of taking a break. It's going to be lots less than working hours a day creating a new listing or whatever. And the thing about it is, you have to find your happy spot. If it is do all of your take 1 week, or maybe you take 2 days out of the week that you design things, and then you put them on autopilot, because you can schedule these things to be listed. So you could schedule, um put them in draft and then, put them out one at a time and drip them. So you don't necessarily have to be designing them and listing them all in the same space of time. And give me a second so I can plug up my computer. And so I guess I just want to be an encouragement. And I know this is sort of a chaotic video. I didn't come in with a particular concept as far as this is on the fly. I don't have a script. Most of my videos, I do not have scripts, but it's things that needed to be said. They all hinge on one another. So there is some order to it. It may seem chaotic to you, but all of these things are things that are very important and can help you grow your business. They're information that is not popularly dispersed, mainly because, and I have mentioned this before, a lot of times the advice that you give it's valid advice. It just goes beyond that. What I'm telling you goes beyond what they're telling you. So a lot of coaches that I respect and I value, and I still have my own coaches that you know, I pay monthly to be a part of their organizations. But there comes a point where that listing strategy is not going to be performing the way that you want it to. At some point, you're going to be burned out from trying to list every day and still be able to spend time with your children and your husband and your friends and go and do things and live in the real world. So, in order for us to truly get a passive business built, we have to recognize that at some point we need to make a change. We need to shift our focus to marketing those things we already have made rather than only, because think of it from a brick and mortar store. Okay, so if all anyone ever did was just place orders, or put new stuff in to their store, number one, in a offline situation, brick and mortar, you can't do that. You have to market what you already have, so you have room for and you have to sell that out to make room for new product, or else that's why they have sales, to move those things out so they can keep fresh product in. We have to begin to realize that there are more, I guess, things that are similar in the offline world as there are in the digital world. And if we learn from those things and we adapt those processes to our online businesses, then we can be more successful. So again, using the example of a brick and mortar store, I had a balloon business, a balloon and gift basket business. So, every holiday, to get ready for a holiday, you had to order, your many months ahead, you had to order your stock for that product, holiday. So I had to go ahead and guess, and buy from what was trending, because those companies already knew what they were going to be promoting. So that's all you had. You didn't have the choice of going out and finding what's trending and all that sort of thing. So truly, in order to promote properly, this was done many months ahead of time. You put your orders in, and then it came in about August. And you began to sell for Christmas, from August on, same thing, months and months ahead, which is why you can sell holiday stuff all year round digitally, because people are working ahead of time on their product. Now, if you're a new seller, you may not be on that yet. You may not have realized that you cannot wait until November to put your Christmas products out and have them out there with Etsy's algorithm that takes weeks for it to get really out there and picked up. You get a little bump, but for it to really get seasoned, I guess you could say, you need to have those products already in your shop well in advance of the holiday season. It's not unless you're driving your own traffic. Now, if you're driving your own traffic and you're going to go put it out there now on Facebook, on Instagram, on these other places, you can go and you can put that in front of people. You can get that product out there. And if people are interested in, that's more your last minute strategy. Put it out there because that you're not waiting for an algorithm. You're putting it into a feed. You're putting it on list inside creator communities that allow for you to do that. Never do it when it's not allowed, but if they allow you to put your product out there in your home in your own profile using your own page, your own business page for your be sure and leave down in the comments if you would like for me to do a video on how you set up your store Facebook page and ways that you can use that page, like strategies to use that to get more local business and well, it'll be local, it'll be everywhere, but it will give you an easier vehicle to market locally. If you want me to do a video on that, and I may do one anyway, but I'd like to see if there's an interest in it. So leave a comment if you would really like for me to do that so I can help walk you through setting up that shop and that page and why you would want to, then how you could interact with your Facebook profile to be able to get this out to the people you already know that are on your friends list and that sort of thing. So let me know in the comments if you want me to touch on that. And so, because I do believe that a good, well-rounded digital store is not only going to be selling all over the world, but also in your own backyard, because there are always going to be opportunities. Think about all the many, many people in your town that are ordering on Etsy, but they don't know that you exist. They don't even know that somebody that's talented like you're not doing local ads. You're not doing anything to let them know. So, but if you can tap into that marketplace, then there is a huge amount of growth that you can drive to your Etsy store that, again, domino effect helps build your recognition on, they push you out more, you get seen more, you sell more. So the whole point is to get seen, then sold. And if you are not getting seen, you're not going to get sold because people do not buy things they cannot find. So anyway, so I hope that you have enjoyed this video and that you will check out my playbooks. I have them on prompting. I think I am up to 6 playbooks now, and all of them except for one is already a bestseller and has been consistently a bestseller. Thank you to everyone who has supported me with the playbooks, and I promise I'm going to keep on trying to deliver to you other products that will make doing what you do easier, faster, and more creative. And like I said, I can never thank you enough for all of you watching me, listening to me, being in my group. Like I said, be sure and sign up for that. All my links are down in the description for all the different things. Artistly, if you have questions, do not hesitate to comment with your question. I do read all of those. Sometimes it takes me a couple of days, or I'll miss one and find one later, or sometimes I try to respond on my phone and it will disappear and I don't know where it goes, a black hole somewhere. So sometimes I have to go back and re-respond because it doesn't show up. But like I said, Artistly, the link for that's down there. Link for a bunch of other things that I didn't even talk about are down in there. I am going to be working on a website that will also feature like a little blog and a lot of resources for you. So if you are excited about the prospects of me having a place that, that'll make it a little bit easier, because I'm always going to use Etsy and Gumroad. Let me just say, all of the playbooks are available on Etsy except for the Junk Journal playbook. That one is only available on Gumroad. And then all of the playbooks are available on Gumroad. If you are in the EU, you will have to use the Gumroad site platform to purchase. That's just, it's to do with that safety thing and the way they handle their products. Anyway, for the EU. But it was a lifesaver. It did enable me to sell to all of you who had wanted to buy the products. And so I'm very grateful that Gumroad is out there as an alternative platform. And so, like I said, all the links are down there for that. But I hope you've enjoyed and learned something. Don't give up, just refocus. Um, if you want more videos on the business side of things, the marketing, how to integrate, how to get to spend more time with your family by refocusing and taking little breaks and breaking up the monotony of everything. I know I have a lot of videos on doing bulk things, bulk designing, and then listing, and you can put those things in draft mode. It's a lot easier sometimes to create a lot of art one day and then go back in and make your packs later. Each time you stop and start, it just kind of interrupts everything. It interrupts the flow. If you do pretty art and you're on a roll, you want to keep rolling with it. So, being organized and all those things is not something that comes natural to us as creatives, but we have to work a little bit on that so that we get the most out of our art and our products. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and happy creating.